Hi everybody, and welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and part 2 of the Messerschmitt Bf109 G6. So, first thing we're going to do is start working on step 1, which is the fuselage, and more specifically some of the cockpit parts. So because I chose to do the Quinta Studio interior 3D decal set, I need to do a little bit of pre-work, and that's why I'm going to video this part because it's something different than what I normally do. So what I need to do is I'm going to start with this part right here, Bf109, which is one of the cockpit side panels. So on the instructions here, it shows where each of the 3D decals goes. So what I need to do first, according to these little red asterisks here, is remove relief from the kit's part first. So let me cut this part off, which is B15, which is right down here, and get the screw gates and stuff cleaned off first. All right, quick little update here on what's going on. So I've got a lot of the stuff painted, and I'm ready to start applying the decals so I can start putting everything together. So, and by decals, I mean the Quinta Studios resin decals. So I've already got, excuse me, a couple of them put on. This one here and this one here. And I have to say, so far so good. They're really, really simple to put on. So I'm going to demonstrate putting on another one. So I've got, get my cutting mat out here. Oh man, if I can get it. There we go. Okay, so there's my mat. Here's my part. I've got a paper towel here. So all I'm going to do, the next one I need to put on is this one. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but these decals, they're kind of cool in the way that they denote what you need to do for each decal. So I'm going to be putting on decal number 8 here, which is this panel right here, and has a red asterisk by it, and that means remove relief from kit part first. So that I've done. I've scraped everything off, sanded as smooth as I could, and then it's just a matter of cutting the decal out like thusly and dropping them in water. Well, not dropping them, but just, you know, using tweezers, putting them in water just for very few seconds. Doesn't take long to get these things to release. Now, one thing to note is on the instructions, it says specifically do not use any, and I'm doing this in real time here, so you're going to see how long it takes for this to work. It says not to use any kind of decal solvent. Now, there may be people out there, oh yeah, I used it on there, didn't have any trouble. Well, that's great. Instructions say don't use it, so I ain't. Okay, so there it is. So I'm going to set it right here to dry, to kind of loosen up for a minute. It says not to use anything like that. It also says that if you have one that's being stubborn and you need, like maybe the surface wasn't scraped off enough or whatever, you can use CA glue, super glue. And if that's the case, you know, it's just like gluing a part on, because this is resin, so it's like nice and rigid. See, that's already loose. That's all there is to it. And so I'm going to slide it part way off, and then I'm going to put it in place. Now, nice thing about these are they're not fragile by any means. Just put it in place, kind of press it down and see what happens. So that looks pretty lined up. I think I got my surface a little concave, so we're going to see how this works. So I'm going to let it sit there. Oh man, that stuck pretty good. I'm going to hold it in place there for a second and see if it sticks. But it says you can use CA glue after you have the part in place. If it looks like it's kind of fragile or you just want to be double sure, you can use, it says to use a CA applicator, or, you know, it says a bamboo toothpick, some kind of sharp instrument, and put some along the edge. And it also says that you can just use CA glue just to attach it completely if you need to. So there's that, because this is pretty much a resin part. It just happens to have decal adhesive on it. So that's something to keep in mind. And it looks like it's stuck. And that's what you end up with. A nice detailed bit of stuff without having to worry about painting it. Now there are those. Okay, now see, this one just fell off. Okay, this is the one that was right there. So I'm going to put that in place with some CA glue, but I am not going to use the real thin stuff. I'm going to use some gel, so I have a second or 10 to get it positioned properly. So let me get a little bit here. And put just a little bit on there like that. Not very much. I'm going to scrape most of it off. I don't want it to be too thick. Okay, so we got that. And then I'm going to take, now this is where it would be nice to have something I could pick it up, something sticky, like I had some right there, some poster tack. Could have put it on the end of a toothpick, stuck it on there, stuck it in place, and then popped it off. But there we go. So that's good right there. So we'll let this sit and see how well it sticks. Okay, so let me do another one here. Hopefully keep my fat head out of the way. But this next one is decal number 14, and it goes right there. So again, I'm going to demonstrate this in real time, and then the rest of them I'll do off camera, but I just want to drop it. I just want to show how easy this stuff is to use, and that I gotta say, I'm really digging this. My other ones from yesterday, they are on there nice and solid. I say yesterday, it's only been seconds since I did it, but they're on there nice and solid. So yeah, I'm digging it. This one right here, this round one right there, I did not use super glue on that one. I just put it on there and it stuck really well. So as long as I think as long as your surface is really flat, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So again, I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to soak it here for a second. And I've got two to put on this particular panel. There's this one here. I don't know if it's a placard or what, and then this part here that goes kind of next to it. So let's set that right there, and we shall see how long it takes for it to come off. And since this is just going flat on here, I don't think I'll have a problem with it sticking or anything. So, see, I like the fact that they come off there really, really quickly. It's not like some decals where you have to wait, you know, a really long time for them to get loose. But so this one goes right here like that. I'll use my little toothpick here, cocktail stick, whatever you want to call it, and get it positioned pretty good. It's almost as if the adhesive is thicker than regular decal adhesive. All right, so there's that one. So that's it. That's how easy those things are to put on. So I'm going to go ahead and work on those for a little bit, work some more on the cockpit, and come back in a little bit when I think it's time to talk some more. Okay, here's a quick note. So I'm doing these straps for the rudder pedals. And here's where it's kind of cool. Now it's a little tedious and kind of scary almost, but these parts are super flexible. So what I did is, using some gel super glue, just so I'd have some time to work with it, I just put a dot on the side and, using tweezers, set the strap in place and just let it stick straight out. So I did it here and here, and I just let it sit for probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes while I did some other stuff. And then I came back in, flipped it over, put a dot of super glue, the gel, in place, and using tweezers just bent it around, tacked it into place, and then held it down long enough for it to dry, and you get some nice little straps going on there. So if you try these things, these decals are pretty forgiving as far as being able to move them around and stuff and bend them. I mean, that's a nice semicircular bend going on right there. So that part is done. So I'm going to continue on. If I find anything else I need to talk about, I'll come back. So I'm getting ready to, I'm doing the seat belts, and while I'm waiting for the one to soften off of the sheet, I just full on just used super glue on these. Didn't mess with it. But here's something I wanted to point out. A lot of times with decals, especially or photo etch, you know, you have to match the base color of the part, whether it be an instrument panel or, you know, whatever, with the base color of the actual entire cockpit. In this case, RLM 66. And it could be pure happenstance, but the mission models, RLM 66, pretty much matches identically to the RLM 66 that's on these parts. So just wanted to throw that in there real quick while I'm working on this stuff. But the color matches really well. So I don't know what they used as a reference, but it's just really nice. All right. So before I show you where I am on the actual kit itself, just let me say that I am now done with this section, which is the all the way up to step 9 with the engine installation and everything. So I had to decide which version I'm doing, and the one that looks most close to the reference photos I have is going to be version C. So I've gone through and made all my markings on the kit. Now the only thing I haven't done is, it shows here to notch out with a knife for the antenna mast, but I don't know if you can see it inside of there, but right down in here you can see where it goes, and I'm going to drill it from the inside because I want it to be a nice smooth hole. So I'll do that in a little bit. But so I got all this done. Step 2 I got completely done. Step 3, step 4, almost forgot this flat piece right here that the control stick goes on. Not using the pilot, so but I got all this done. Got seat and the cannon breech cover, I believe is what that is, but I got that done. These two parts installed, the cockpit installed into the fuselage, and then 8 and 9, which are the engine parts. I got all that completed. Now the only thing I didn't do is I did not attach these to the actual engine. And let me show you something here, because what I did is I did not use the kit parts for that. I had mentioned that I was going to try and get some aftermarket exhausts, and I did, because the ends are hollowed out very nicely. Details just a little bit better, because I didn't want to try and have to drill the kit parts out. And the kit parts are, I mean, due to necessity and the limitations of the size is pretty good. They're a little bit thicker this way, you know, this dimension here. So I opted to go with the aftermarket. And what I did was I got the quick boost set, and with that, from the same place, I got the Def Models wheel set, because they are weighted. So that's the other aftermarket I got, in addition to the Quinta Studios instrument stuff. But as I showed in the earlier part, well, again, I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, this is what it looks like. So I got these are all glued together. They're painted on the inside. I have not painted the exhaust tips yet. I will do that last. That will be one of the last things I do on this kit. But they fit easily onto the engine, the cylinder heads, or whatever. So I've just got those set aside right now until I'm ready to actually install them. But other than that, everything else is done, including the engine number decals. Got everything painted up, and everything is ready to go. So let's take a look at the actual kit, or the parts here. So there is film, carrier film visible there, but I'm going to try and blend that in with some clear coats and stuff like that. But I really think, just looking at illustrations, some photographic reference, those are pretty much going to be covered up by the engine mounts and some other fittings and stuff like that. So I may not even have to do that on there. But I got everything detail painted. I got the seat belts installed, and as you can see, they look pretty stinking nice. So overall, the Quinta Studio stuff, I think, was a good choice. It really, you know, a lot of this stuff you're not going to really be able to see that much, but you can see that side panel there, especially since I don't have a pilot, and you can see all the stuff on this side here. So I think it's a good, I think it was a good investment. As far as the flexibility of these things go, they're really nice. I mean, they just, I don't know, I was talking about them earlier, but the way they lay naturally in this seat with just a little bit of super glue, I'm really stoked. As far as weathering on the inside of the cockpit, again, you can't see a whole lot, but I did do some sponge chipping on the to show some aluminum, some bare metal, but again, you can't see very much of it. And then I did do a wash that I made up with oh, what color did I use? I don't even remember now. Oh yeah, I do. Let's see, let me get it out here. I used the Vallejo Model Air Panzer Dark Gray with some water and Future floor polish. Yes, Future floor polish. And it works really good. I think the Future helps break up the surface tension, so the stuff flows pretty good and it sticks well. and it sits in the recesses nicely. So yeah, so I got all that done. So that completes up to step 9, again with the exception of the exhausts. So I think this is a good place to quit with this particular video. So I hope you enjoyed this format of just kind of doing a summary and getting to see what it looks like at the end. And then the few little things that I actually talked about, because everything else went together without a hitch. So not really a whole lot to talk about. Oh, one more thing real quick before I go. I got the magnets glued in here and here for the removable cowling stuff. So just want to bring that up. So anyway, I hope you like the format, the summary type format, a little bit shorter, a lot less blabbing. But yeah, so far, so good. I'm digging it. So with that, I'm going to call it quits. As always, thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. And if you have any questions, comments, hints, tips, concerns, anything like that, or experience with this particular kit, please put them in the comments section down below, and I'll get back to you. So thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later.